Imagine standing in a room that is slowly filling with water. For years, you held a bucket. You bailed the water out. You worked tirelessly to keep the furniture dry, to keep the people in the room comfortable. You exhausted yourself keeping them afloat. And then, one day, you looked at the people you were saving. You noticed they were holding hoses. They were the ones filling the room. In that split second, something inside you snapped. You didn't scream. You didn't fight. You simply dropped the bucket and walked out the door. You locked it behind you. And you never looked back. This is the psychology of the cut off. Society tells you that cutting people off is an act of cruelty. They tell you it is immature or that it is a sign of an inability to communicate. But if you are watching this, you know that isn't true. You know that silence is not always an act of war. Sometimes, silence is the only way to survive. Here is the truth. The people who are most likely to cut others off completely are not the cold-hearted. They are not the narcissists. Usually, they are the ones who cared the most. They are the ones who forgave the unforgivable. They are the ones who gave second chances, third chances, and chances they didn't even know they had left to give. You were not born with a heart of stone. You built it, brick by brick, because the world taught you that being soft was dangerous. Think about the last person you removed from your life. It didn't happen overnight, did it? It was a slow accumulation. 1,000 tiny cuts. 1,000 moments of disrespect that they thought you didn't notice. But you noticed. You always notice. You have a trait that many people lack. You have an internal accountant. You keep track of the emotional debt. You allow people to borrow your energy, your time, and your love. But you also know when the account is overdrawn. And when that balance hits zero, you don't negotiate. You close the bank. Listen to me carefully. There is a profound misunderstanding about you. People think you are impulsive. They think you act on emotion. But the cutoff is the most rational decision a human being can make. It is the moment logic finally overrides hope. For a long time, you operated on hope. You hoped they would change. You hoped if you explained your feelings one more time, using different words, they would finally understand. You treated your boundaries like suggestions. You let them step over the line because you valued the relationship more than you valued your own peace. But there is a limit to how much a soul can endure before it starts to protect itself automatically. It is a biological imperative. If you touch a hot stove, your hand pulls back before your brain even registers the pain. Cutting toxic people off is the exact same reflex. It is your spirit pulling its hand away from the fire. And when you finally do it, when you finally go cold, it terrifies them. They are used to your warmth. They are used to your accessibility. They thought your presence was a guaranteed renewable resource. When you withdraw it, they panic. They will call you arrogant. They will call you selfish. They will tell everyone who will listen that you changed. Let them. This is where the shift happens. This is where you move from being a victim of your environment to being the architect of your reality. You must understand that your ability to detach is not a flaw. It is a superpower. Most people are terrified of being alone. They will tolerate disrespect, manipulation, and abuse just to have a body in the room. They settle for table scraps of affection because they are starving. But you? You realize that starving is better than eating poison. You have entered a training camp for the mind. By walking away, you are training yourself to validate your own existence. You are learning that your value does not decrease based on someone's inability to see it. Read that again. Your value does not decrease based on someone's inability to see it. The moment you cut the cord, you gain something that money cannot buy: silence. At first, the silence feels heavy. It feels like loneliness. But if you sit with it, the feeling changes. It transforms into freedom. You realize how much energy you were burning just to manage their moods. You realize how much mental space they were occupying rent-free. When you reclaim that space, you become dangerous. Not dangerous in a violent way, but dangerous in a way that threatens the status quo. A person who does not need external validation is a person who cannot be controlled. A person who is willing to walk away from the table is the person who holds all the negotiating power. You are no longer playing their game. You have created your own. But there is a trap you must avoid. You must not let this harden you into bitterness. Bitterness is like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die. You did not cut them off to punish them. Punishment requires effort. Punishment requires you to still be emotionally invested in their reaction. No, you cut them off to save yourself. This is a strategic retreat. In warfare, A general does not keep his troops in a losing battle out of pride. He withdraws them to higher ground so they can fight another day. You are the general of your life. You have withdrawn your energy to higher ground. From this vantage point, you can see things clearly. You can see who is there for you and who is there for what you can provide. You start to see the patterns. And once you see the patterns, you can never unsee them. You will find that your circle gets smaller, much smaller. This frightens some people, but it should excite you. A small circle is a focused circle. A small circle is a protected fortress. The people who remain are the ones who scaled the walls of your standards. They are the ones who respect the gate. Do not apologize for the gate. Do not apologize for the lock. You are refining your life. You are curating your existence like a museum. Nothing enters unless it has value. Nothing stays unless it respects the space. This is not arrogance. This is stewardship. You are the steward of your own soul. As you move forward, you will encounter new people. They will see your boundaries, and they will test them. That is human nature. But this time, the outcome will be different. You won't explain. You won't beg. You will simply watch. If they cross the line, you won't make a scene. You won't write a long paragraph explaining why you are hurt. You will simply fade. You will become the mist. You will disappear from their lives so completely that they will question if you were ever really there. This is the power of the invisible exit. It leaves them with the consequences of their actions, and it leaves you with your peace intact. So, if you are currently standing in the wreckage of a relationship you had to end, stop looking at the debris. Stop wondering if you were too harsh. Stop wondering if you should have held the bucket for 5 more minutes. The room was filling with water. You chose to breathe. Walk forward. Keep your head high. You are not a villain. You are a survivor who finally decided to stop surviving and start living. You are a master strategist who realized that the only winning move was to stop playing the game. Welcome to the quiet. It belongs to you now.